Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and the third episode in my Munich travel series. Today I'll be exploring Munich, one of Germany's most underrated cities.
Okay, so we have arrived at the Nymphenburg Palace.
This is Nymphenburg Palace, one of the most impressive royal residences in Germany. It was built in the 1600s as a summer palace for the Bavarian royalty. The palace itself is massive, but what really stands out are the gardens. They stretch out for what feels like miles, with canals, fountains, and perfectly symmetrical paths that make it even more like a royal park.
So I am currently outside the Munich Residenz, and it is the former home of the Bavarian kings. For over 400 years, this was the seat of power of the Wittelsbach dynasty, one of Europe's most influential royal families. The residence is the largest city palace in Germany with more than 100 rooms, courtyards, halls, and showcasing.
So this is the treasury. It was designed to protect the most important possessions of the state. Crowns, jewels, religious relics, and ceremonial objects that represented power and legitimacy. The first space outside of the treasury is the White Hall. The White Hall was one of the grand ceremonial rooms of the palace. White symbolized purity, order, and divine authority. When guests or ambassadors walked in here, they were meant to feel small, like they'd stepped into something bigger than themselves. Throughout the residence, there are many special rooms. However, there's also the antiquarium, and honestly, this might be one of the most jaw-dropping spaces in the entire residence. It's this massive Renaissance hall, lined with ancient sculptures. It feels like a Roman palace dropped into Bavaria. This is the Munich Botanical Garden, over 20 hectares of pure green space, right next to the Nymphenburg Palace. The garden first opened in 1914, designed not just as a park, but as a living science project. Today, it holds more than 15,000 plant species from all over the planet. This is the Deutsches Museum in Munich, and it's not just a science museum, it's actually the largest science and technology museum in the world. Yeah, not Germany, not Europe, the world. It first opened in 1903, and the whole idea was simple. Don't just show science, let people experience it. So instead of staring at objects behind glass, you actually press buttons, pull levers, and watch machines come alive. And inside, it's massive. You've got entire sections dedicated to aviation, space travel, mining, robotics, chemistry, physics, even submarines and historic ships. One of the coolest parts is the interactive experiments. You can generate electricity, watch lightning demonstrations, or see how sound waves move through the air. You wander around and suddenly you're learning without even trying. It kind of brings out your inner 10-year-old again. So if you're in Munich and you want something different from palaces and churches, this is the spot.
I remember doing this stuff in uni a lot. What do we remember about NI vision?
So when it tracks the objects, so look at the cherries on the screen. There we are.
But when we attach it now, what happens? We are at BMW Welt, which I think is a showroom here. This is what it looks like from the outside. We're gonna head in now.
Welcome to BMW Welt, right here in Munich, the home of BMW. It's part showroom, part experience centre, and part car playground. Inside, you're not just looking at cars behind ropes. You get right up close. Electric cars, race bikes, concept vehicles, even models that haven't even hit the road yet. It's basically a celebration of German engineering, speed, design, and innovation all in one place.
So this was BMW Welt, but BMW is also home, especially in Munich, to the BMW Museum. And if you want to buy a car, this is where you go. And we are here at the BMW Museum. So this, I think, is a technology I've seen before, and the more you stamp on it, it generates electricity.
Right next to BMW Welt is where the real story lives, the BMW Museum. This is where you see how it all started. Most people would think BMW always made cars, but actually they began with aircraft engines over 100 years ago. That blue and white logo, it's inspired from a spinning airplane propeller. And inside the museum, you can literally walk through all that history. From tiny vintage motorcycles to classy 1960 sports cars to the iconic M cars, all the way to futuristic electric concepts. It's like traveling through time, one engine at a time. Even if you're not a huge car person, you can always appreciate the engineering, the details, the shapes, the way everything feels precise. Very German. So yeah, this isn't just a car museum. It's basically a timeline of how machines shaped modern driving. Munich doesn't just have one Christmas market, it has Christmas markets all over the city during December. In Munich's English Garden, you can literally spot something that feels completely out of place. The Chinesischer Turm, or otherwise known as the Chinese Tower. It was first built back in 1789 during a time where European rulers were obsessed with Asian-inspired design. So it isn't actually Chinese, it's 18th century Bavarian imagination of China. Okay, we've come to stop to get some crepes. We've got a banana Nutella crepe.
So behind me are the famous Twin Towers of Munich, otherwise known as Frauenkirche. The cathedral was built in the late 1400s and stands out almost 100 meters tall. So this is easily one of Munich's most recognizable buildings, and there's even a city law that prevents any other building from being as tall as it is in the city center. This is the theater. So this is Sendlinger Tor, or otherwise is known as Sendlinger Gates.